And no, no. Why you always want to go to sleep? Gotta get this money. Gotta get these options, you know? Gotta get that bread. Mm-hmm. They're funny. You got the phone for the cord? My phone is dying. Thank you. Fine. I look cold. Oh, you're cool. Your turn. 2 cares. That's just taller. No, I wanted in on that, my boy. I think I want to take buys into the CPI box, but I'm not sure if we can at least like hang out down here real quick, get a good entry. That'd be cool. Yeah. just the market opening candle right now. So damn, QQQ is up. Oh man, it's tough. CPI box. Oh, that box. This box is the news. Remember the news that happened 2 days ago? This is where this huge red candle came from. That's CPI. So the news came in and shot all the way down. So we can retrace the orders here. Damn, bro. Shit running. You fucking bitch. Yeah, this whole entire area is where the news rejected from. So there's a good chance we retrace it and then decide, all right, maybe that news was meant to shoot the market down, or we reclaim it and then we can continue running now that it's out of the way. I don't want this candle to just flip red. The way it's moving is really ugly. So we don't have any little order blocks to use either. We're above this little 30-minute though. If we can get under this line, I'd like to get an entry. Unless we are going for the full rejection of the CPI, which I don't believe we should. We'll have to see though. There's order blocks down here as well. So if it does completely reject, we'll go for one of those order blocks. Looks like that buy pressure's gone. They just liquidated this high here. So I don't want to see the 30-minute have to reach any lower than it already has. So stop loss there for me. And then if we get stopped out on that, then we'll just wait. I'd like to see the market actually like take some priority in getting into this box rather than playing around first, because you can see the range that we have here. It's no bueno. So I like the breakout idea. And then the CPI rejection high is all the way up here. Don't know if I'll hold for the high though. It'd be cool if we can at least get right here for the order block. I'm down with that. I'm saving room to be able to average in. But I'd like this as price target. So as long as it holds this line here, then we should be good to go. This is a breakout trade. So usually they break out and run, but this is the 30-minute chart. So, and it's the market open right now. So I don't know how many attempts we'll get towards the breakout, but this is the box that we have. So if we get a chance to go lower, we'll buy at the lower end of the box. But until then, all we can attempt is the breakout. So keep the sizing light so that way you can average in as it gets there. You'll see the candle, the way it moves and stuff. If it doesn't shoot down and stop us out, we can add on to the pressure as it goes. On a smaller time frame, you'll see the trend. But for right now, it's just breaking, retesting this area at the moment. So if it can't hold, then it's going to drop down. There's a little order blocks here. I have a stop loss before then, but I don't want to get shot down and liquidated. So I'm okay with taking the little loss, and then I'll average in at the bottom down here or buy more at the bottom if we get there. I'm not sure how, quote unquote, deep we should get into the CPI level before rejecting, but there's also a good chance that, like we said, if this is CPI, if the decision is to reclaim this level, then we shouldn't break out the lower end of this box. If it's trying to run above, then we need to break out of this box and blessing hold the CPI level. So we'll decide shorts if we don't hold, and then we'll stay in longs if we do hold. So until then, we have to wait for the market to give some direction. judging by the open, it looked like it wanted to go for a nice break, and it didn't fall too fast. So worth the shot. Live breakouts are not high probability setups, so that's why you don't risk too much size onto it. If it was like a 1, 2, 3 touch or something like that, that's a high probability setup for us. So I don't mind sizing into something like that. But for a breakout, you gotta buy on the way, not as it's going the wrong way. So yeah, we touched the CPI rejection area. You can see the wicks all showing the sell pressure. But in order to sell us on that idea, they're going to have to get rid of the nearest order block and then do another retest. And I'm sure we'll be able to decide from there if we can get into sells and just take it lower. Because right now, on a trending aspect, you can see a new low is here. And technically, we did make a new low right here. So this is a lower low than the previous. And then we have a high, which would be this highest high. So hypothetically speaking, if we want to keep this uptrend, we would need to look for higher high. But it can use all of this area because there's the lowest low, which is down here. So it can use all of this area prior to this low in order to get above the high. So for now, even if we reject, as long as we don't break this low, I'm going to trade the trend. So I'd like to stay in the buy side of things. So that way we can be involved in this new high that could be created soon because the market's been uptrending. We've been in a nice bull market run so far. If we take the angle estimate here, you can see we've already came from that low on a higher time frame. So we need to get above that high to keep the trend going. So I'm not sure how stagnant we will be before getting that high. So we'll pay attention to these micro moves, take what we can, and then I'm sure some of the news this week should help with deciding that factor. So we took out all the little order blocks here, and we're coming from the CPI rejection. So we have an order block that we could potentially target for shorts now. See what's good. Still got this 15-minute order block right here. So still watching the 30-minute candle. So far, it's kind of like what happened yesterday. So market created a high and a low. Then the first 15 minutes so far, So if we look at that 15-minute candle, it's almost done. It's got 4 minutes left. So from here, the high and low of the day has been decided. And then from there, you'll see if it either stays in the range or will it actually break one side or the other based off of the setups you have. Right now, we're in the middle of this chart. You can see the highest point here. This would be the middle, this being the low. And right now, we just came from the middle, basically. So we are in the lower end of this entire picture. So if you put this in the mindset of premium and discount, the lowest portion is the discounted area. And then you have that median ground where it's just fair value. So it should hang out here and either dip deeper into a discount to push higher or push higher into a premium to push lower. So you can see there's like a pretty big order block from this huge candle here. So this could just be an initial reaction of touching new price in to that order block and the level that goes across. So just because it's rejecting now doesn't mean it's a full rejection to the downside. It just means it's a reaction to the price. So now it needs to push to something that can give us some pullback in order to continue trending higher. So that's why I'm kind of sitting off of even jumping into sells. And then, like we said, just took the buy opportunity because if we did break out, then it would have been pretty clean to just get to the level, which it was just shy of getting there. But I wasn't interested in taking profit in case we completely blow through this CPI area. So I'd expect we'd more than likely do that today if we can just keep the levels that are on the screen. So right here, you can see the break and the retest attempt. So we extend this line across. You can see another consolidation just under it, breaks, retests as well. So now we came back down and we just retested it again. So as long as we can hold above this level here, then we're still bullish. But for us personally, on the breakout side of things, this is the level we would have to watch for entries to hold. But I would like to get entries on the lower end if we can get a better picture. But right now, we only have the 15-minute idea, right? So market just opened, 15-minute candle goes by, creates its high and low. And now you'll see it inch towards the bottom. If it can't break that, it'll start inching towards the top. Can't break that, then it'll keep doing the same thing until one of them is broken. I think that same ideology happened to us yesterday, so we can check that out. So here is the market open candle. The market open does this on the 15-minute. Looks very similar to what we have at the moment, right? And then if we take the line from the top and bottom, you'll see which side breaks first. So you have the top side that is broken. If you're going for a breakout trade, you can buy as long as it doesn't break through and fall back into the range, and you should be okay. Otherwise, then you'll take the loss, of course. But you can see here the failed attempt comes back in, retests, and actually breaks again, which would be the second entry. That's why you keep it light on the breakout, because if it does come back in, you take a small loss. And then on your second attempt, this is what we're expecting, right? This is what a breakout really looks like. But even if you miss that, usually it'll come back and test something prior to running. But yeah, you got the retest of the same level you could potentially take for the breakout. You can see here it falls right back into range, even falls lower. But same ideology. Here's the range. Falls below, didn't break below, came back in. So now if it breaks the high, you can take the breakout again, just like that. It could potentially retest it before running again. So price action is going to move, but like we say, during market hours, it gets manipulated a lot more. So if this is what's going to happen today, then this is what we want to wait for. We either want to wait for the break of the low, which reclaims, or the break and the retest. If we don't get one of those two things, then you'll just be giving money away to a blind play. So again, to repeat that same ideology, here's a 15, there's top and bottom. If you get the breakout of the low, I think we can see both of them in the same frame here. So here's this, and here's this. You can see the initial breakout. This will be nice to catch. That's what we wanted initially here. So if we can get the breakout, that'd be cool. And then if it comes back to retest, we can try to go for the buys again. If it falls back in, then we'll wait for it to claim the bottom. And if it does claim the bottom and comes back in just like this, then it'll just be a repeat of the same trend, right? So it breaks higher, goes lower, runs even higher. So the reason the market does these things, it creates liquidity above the highs and the lows. So right here, it created liquidity after this run. Liquidity now exists under the low of that run. And then here's the top. Liquidity now exists above the top. So you can see here, it's grabbing liquidity, but it didn't run too far like it did when it grabbed from down here. So it shows the pressure of the buy side. So you can see the first time it touched liquidity, it only dropped a little bit. Second time, a little bit as well. Here's a third. Here's even the fourth, and it's still holding here. So the sell side is not that much in demand at the moment. So the better opportunities we can get for the buy side, the more I'd like to sit on that position. So I hope that breakdown makes sense. So hopefully we can put it into action. It's easier to do it from a hindsight perspective than it is to actually stay in the play, especially if you don't have the funds to do so. So for now, let's see if we can keep the execution a little bit disciplined. It might not be a perfectly painted picture as this side here. So we'll try to abide by the breakout rules. Keep the position small, and as it continues to go your way, you can add into it. But don't add into a play that's not going your way, hoping that it will just go back up, because take your money away really fast. So again, just to reiterate, right, this might not be familiar of a playthrough on the chart, like something that you're used to seeing, right? So for example, we like to look for the 1, 2, 3 touch, or maybe perfect retracement, right? If we're talking about live breakouts, we just like to take the line on its own. But those are high probability setups. So that means you can risk a certain amount of money for yourself to take that setup based off of prior experience. And you know that 90% of the time it's going to work out, right? It just matters about where your entry is going to be. Does the EMA play a part? Yeah, I mean, the EMA is the same rules applied all the time. I personally don't have it on. It's on now though. But yeah, the EMA works too. As long as it can continue to hold the way it's holding here, then I think we should be good. So if we can see it claim, that'd be cool. It can be used to squeeze price out of this high. But yeah, high probability setup. So the things that you've seen in the course, those are setups, those are models, right? So when we know the bigger picture, we're able to take those models, take the Fibonacci, you know what phase of the trade that you're in based off of it, right? And you'll be able to do that. But what we're doing right now, we don't really have a setup to be looking for, and I don't want to just make one up, because although we do have a lot of trending wicks here and the order block, I'm not quite sure if this is going to be some 1, 2, 3 touch or not, but we do like these. So as long as we can hold, then it serves in our ideology that we spoke of. But this isn't something you go putting your house on. So keep the risk light. We're just trying to catch the momentum of the morning. If it's not there, then it's more than likely going to happen later in the day. So that means we'll be ranging into this bullshit, just like yesterday. You can see how slow some of these candles were moving. This is a 15-minute chart, and we were pretty stagnant after the initial run-up. We were in price, the same range of price for a while, about an hour or so. And then we finally got a little bit of movement. And then from there, you were stuck in price for looks like another hour and 45 minutes. Then we got some good movement. So we don't want to be involved in all of this until we have clear direction. So for now, those are the one or two things that we're going to wait for, right? Do we get that reach back or do we get the break and retest? So anything in between this range isn't really for us at the moment. Yeah, unemployment is tomorrow. So that being said, that could be a real big driver into how this trend also plays out. So like we said, on the bigger time frame, not sure what time frame we were on, but they also look relatively the same. You have the trend here, right? You have that uptrending market. So in order to get to that high, there's a good chance that we can at least stay in this area. And then unemployment could be enough to give us one of those big candles, kind of like CPI did, and push us a decent ways away until market open, and then market open can go reach those highs, or even the next day, right, which would be Friday. So my bias, quote unquote, is to the buy side for sure. I like this area for the buy side entry because of the order block that's being protected here one too many times, in my opinion. So if you want an anticipated entry and can afford it, I would say this lower end would be nice. I'm just not sure if we'd get this breakout first, right? Because I know you guys all have been learning from me, and I've been predominantly trading futures. But back when I used to trade stocks, there's these things on the stocks. It's called a gap, right? Which is area that it's just hasn't filled, right? Price was here, but overnight price goes up, which creates an empty space. So for a lot of traders that have no idea about the after hours on other stocks that they could use, this area is pretty much empty. So for them, it's like a no man's land. So you don't get much volume until you get in the gap. And then you'll see, I think we might be able to find one. Yeah. So for example, here's the gap. Here's a replay. Okay. So here's this gap, right? And usually if you test price into the gap and it doesn't continue running, then it'll test the low. If it does go into the gap, then you'd want to take the trend to fill the gap, right? So you can see here, it fails the gap, goes back in, and then we ended up gapping up. We gapped the gap, right? So now we're here. So either we go down and fill this, and after it's filled, then we can go fill the rest, or we go up and fill this. But it would be harder to come back down and fill that gap. But also not every gap needs to be filled. But here's an example. Here's another gap. And notice how price ended up gapping from up here from CPI, came all the way down, filled this area. Now that gap is done. So it closed out, retraced back to the low, and then now we're up here again. So now this is a new gap that quote unquote needs to be filled. But let's see if we can find a gap that wasn't filled. You can see here as well, here's a gap, does the same thing, pushes halfway in, falls down, reaches for the low, and then afterwards completely fills the gap again. Here's a gap as well. You can see even after breaking, goes halfway in, comes back up, and then ends up filling the gap entirely. And then after that, it kind of readjusts. So that's something that I used to use on the stock market. But now that I know what the after hours looks like from here on NQ, you know what's happening in between this. So usually it's just an order block or something. So we'll use the order blocks to target if the gap needs to be filled. So we'll keep our eyes on that. If the gap needs to be filled, then that order block's going to do justice for a buy entry later. That would be here on the 15-minute chart, but I don't think we get down there personally. I think it'd be too tedious to go for a gap and the gap, but we'll see. But for right now, the 15-minute order block and the 30-minute order block has been saved a few times. The EMA is there as well. Our trend line is there as well. We've been rejected from this level many times already and have not made a new candle close below the structure level. So this candle is going to tell us a lot after closure. So it's about like 3 more minutes, but it's looking better for the upside in my opinion. So yeah, if they go fill that gap, then this would be the last line of defense for buys. And then if we lose that level, then we're not trying to make a new high. So that means you'll probably get more spill-offs like this. I'm gonna go look at some option contracts real quick and then see what's good for the futures entry. I'm okay with being late to an entry on a setup like this because the breakout should have momentum. But sitting on a buy order here and watching this kind of dwindle down and go back up doesn't seem that great. Not until it's higher, and then you can clap about it. And for options, I'd like to see the gap get filled. So 435 calls would be cool. I'm not getting entry yet, but those are the contracts that I'm likely going to watch. I'm going to see what the open interest looks like on them. It's got about 9,000 open interest for calls right now. So, and then even the 431 has like 7,000. So there's a lot of people. But there's also about 10,000 on the put side too. So seems like the market's a little indecisive at the moment. A pretty nice trend line on that 30-second chart here. You can see just how aggressive the pushes are becoming. It's back above the level again. Not sure if we get another rejection. We'll see what's good. Are you going to add how to read and trade options? Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm working on options. So we have a release date that I'm gonna try to push towards. So by the end of March, I should have on the website a login that we'll use and we can check everything out that way. We're still in the middle of this range here, so safe entry is going to come a little later. So the new breakout level would be here. I'm just trying to take an early entry to see if we can actually get above this level. You can use the smaller time frame, like the 1 minute EMA and order block, to get a better level here. So if I clear this chart, there'll be an order block here and a structure. So safest entry would likely be the structure level under here, and then see it reclaim and then actually run. If we do that thing that we do, you can see down here would be like $500 down per contract for me. And then target is going to be the high of this candle here. So only like $1,000 per contract for this trade. We'll see what's good though. It is the 30-minute and we're not getting too much volatility that's running just yet. So if we end up reaching back to this level, and we'll see what's good. That's another quote unquote rejection from the 15-minute level. So we need to see it actually break and hold through. But yeah, here's that 1 minute order block. I'll readjust this positioning, make it look better on screen. And then here's the structure level as well. But I'm not sure how much adjusting it's going to need to do because like we said on that 15-minute chart, we're still inside. So here's the top and bottom. We're literally dead in the middle right now. The only reason I like the buy side more is just because of the order block that's down here. It's been protected a few times now. So I'd imagine we can at least get a push to the high. That'd be nice. I'll go for option calls if we end up getting the position to make out on the box itself. Because right now it seems like the contracts are indecisive. So if it goes the wrong way, it can get choppy. I like the 431 calls though. They're at 130 right now. We'll see what it looks like when we get down there. And then we can probably take the options play. I was looking at the dollar earlier. I have an alert at the gap here on QQQ, so we'll see what's good by then. But here's the dollar. And the dollar, I had this box drawn out. You can see here. So right now, we've already touched the high of the box. We came to the low, bounced on it, retest, couldn't hold. So the dollar is dropping, but we have not made a new low on the dollar just yet. But if we can get the dollar to go below this low, then NQ should be pretty clear for a run to the upside. But for now, if the dollar continues to hang out in this range, then NQ is going to be very sensitive. Let's look at ES too. So ES is also in the same predicament. So this is the CPI candle from ES. We haven't even gotten there yet. So right now we're just inside of a huge order block. So we got some room for ES to let us run a little bit before falling from what it looks like. Pretty solid picture. And then we also have the high that was here. Here's the break. And then we've been hanging out above the level the entire time. So as long as we hold above the level, and we should stay quote unquote bullish. I don't think we have news today. I think it was only like a yellow folder. So that 1 minute order block entry wasn't too terrible. It did hold up. So you got the EMA, you got the order block. Now we're pushing the high right now. So if we could actually get the run, that'd be pretty sick. Yeah, QQQ hasn't pushed in the gap just yet. So I like to put break even on the stop loss because we should just go for a run from here. I also don't want to just get liquidated for no reason, but yeah, say let's do it, and then we'll just find another entry if shit doesn't work out. I don't see why we should have to test all the way down here again. Sorry if I'm moving the screen too much. There's just a lot of fucking adjustments and stuff. Trying to watch too many charts to help us with this breakout real quick. And I'm also trying to get in some option contract. So far we're up 680 just with two contracts. And we're just aiming for the high of CPI. Ultimately, that would be nice. I would say the safest price target you can get is here, which is the top of the order block. So it came back for that break even stop. That's already two, that's like a lot of rejections from here. I'm not sure if we go for a new low under the 1 minute for another attempt at liquidity. You can see there's a order block and EMA right here as well on that 1 minute. But on the 30 minute, we wicked again. Here's the high. It hasn't gone lower than our entry point, which was the 1 minute order block. Which is here. So we got in at the 50. But if we end up liquidating this, then could go for more buys again. But like I said, at the 15-minute chart, we have this going on. So we have not broken the high yet. We also haven't broken the low yet. So it'll be choppy until one of the two does happen. Yeah, I'm not trusting the breakout. That's why I broke even the stop loss. Because if we were supposed to break out, it would have at least had some more momentum. So I could try to wait. Faked out last time over here on the 15-minute. Faked out the first time for sure. You got to go to 15. Yeah, here it is. So you can see it pushed for the high and then immediately rejected. Then who knows how many times this candle went all the way back down to zero before actually closing there. So that could potentially happen again. It's about 2 minutes left. So this next candle could easily start pushing higher just to wick us out. And there's 17 minutes on 30 minutes. So it could easily also end up closing high as well. Even though it keeps pulling back to the same area, it has not fell below the entry point. Yeah. Yeah, the EMA could squeeze it above the levels for sure. So you can use the EMA for entries or close enough to it if you don't mind watching it fluctuate. I personally like to have the EMA and order block. So you can see here, this was why we got our first entry, which was nice. Although we, like we said, broke even the stop loss. After it came back to touch, it's not terrible, but usually what happens to me is if I get the first entry and I get broke even stop loss, then usually it'll come out of the order block, close it, and then also go up. So my rule of thumb oftentimes is to buy where my stop loss would be. So I'll try to take the attempt of buys under the order block in hopes that we don't completely bleed off to the downside, but every trade has a risk to it. So all you could do is mitigate it. So for now, we didn't get much momentum for the breakout at the market open. So hopefully this isn't going to be a day's journey. to get above this level. Because I don't see why we reject if we have all of this space that has not been touched. It's pushed in each time, but has not made a new low. So I'm sure they're just chasing out as many stop losses as possible before actually running it up. It's just a matter of when are they going to actually do the run. You can see there's no real momentum behind a lot of these pullbacks or even the breakouts at the moment. So there goes another EMA push. We can try it. I'll let it sit on the EMA. If we break under the EMA and close, then I'll close out this position. It's a high buy, but we've already touched the order block and haven't fallen, and the EMA has been holding pretty well. And the 30-minute has 13 minutes left. Hasn't turned red on us just yet. So it'd be cool to see the 30-minute just close a high. That's all we really need. If you're still holding your initial or our initial entry, then should be up a pretty decent amount at least. So we all know the risk that this is also in the middle of the 15-minute top and bottom for the market open. And here's the high. So don't lose your account over this trade. Just let it do what it needs to do and follow the rules. If not, you're going to have to wait till the afternoon to actually catch the banger. So what we truly need is a breakout for QQQ here. It's still in the gap price. So there's a gap below it and a gap above it. Same thing here. There's an order block below it, and then it's in a huge order block at the moment. So it's a good reason why we're slow chopping it up. So the goal is to close out this order block. So that's what I would like price target to be. And if that does get closed out, then we can actually run to some pretty high highs. So it's all about getting an entry you can sit on. Damn, the contracts went up crazy. But, oh, you got them too? Yeah. Oh, and stage tracker. It's at safe price target now, which is the top of this order block. In order to close an order block, we need a candle to close there. So for me, I'd like to wait for candle closure, but that could take either the rest of the 10 minutes, obviously, because that will close the candle, but it could take the other 30-minute candle to do it too. So hopefully this doesn't come back down and close, and then it takes the 30-minute to do it again. So for now, I'm okay with chilling on this idea. In a perfect world, you would get out of your position here and then call it a day. There's some order blocks up here. at our next. So we got ways away until price target. I'm down to take at the high because after that, I'd imagine we'd get the choppy stuff going on. My bad on option contracts as well. But we did break out. We're in the gap now. So we have a pretty huge gap to fill. So I don't recommend buying high, but if you can get a pullback sometime throughout the day and aim for this gap fill, that'd be a really good trade. But for now, the calls that we were supposed to call entry for, they're already up about 120% and 60% for the 431 and the 435s. Facts, bro. I got an office with monitors and shit in it, but I've been lazy, dog. I've been sitting home. Think I'll use my office probably like next month and be a lot better. But for now, I just been kind of chilling. I also don't like walking there uh at like 2 a.m. or walking from there at like 4 in the morning. So it's literally right across the street. So Apple Vision Pros, hell yeah. I saw them shits too. I have that Meta Quest at home. I was making some trading videos on there. I was trying to be the first dude to make some virtual reality course, but that dream got uplifted when I started traveling. I left it home. I got a few videos on there though, you know what I'm saying? Pretty valid. Good. All right, so we're back up to CPI's level finally. So from here we could do a lot of different things. VR candles, thanks, bro. Seeing that volume is crazy. Be burning it into my eyeballs, but it's good practice. It's lit. We need to have a virtual reality stock meeting one day. Spend some money on the Quest. I don't know if y'all ever used it, but that shit kind of funny. We're almost at price target too. For the sake of the Zoom, I'll take profit there. That way, this can be clipped pretty nicely. Oh man, hope it doesn't do that bullshit where like inches here and goes down. Yeah, there you go. Get there, my boy. That should be 2 bands if we get there. Fuck me, I guess. That'd be cool, bro. I didn't even know they had different models of the Quest. I don't even know what model I had. I'm not gonna lie. I don't need the extra 500 that bad. I'm gonna take here. It literally like just barely gave it to us. I'm personally just gonna take there, but in a perfect world, I wouldn't be able to do that if I was just out working and shit like that. So usually what I like to do is put the order right under the high. So that way when it does just barely miss, it'll take me out. But since I'm visually watching it, I figured it'd be cool to see it actually touch, but I don't want to sit here watching it consolidate the whole time. So that was the trade of the day. So I hope you guys were able to take advantage of that. I know we had multiple entries on the same idea, but we had to manage risk accordingly. So it was definitely playing with us a lot down there. You can see the order block that we were using for entry. It came back to test a few times. It could have rejected the way that it did initially at the open. That's not what I was trying to experience. That's why I put the stop loss at break even, hoping that it wouldn't come back and get us, although it literally just tapped us out and then continued to run without ever coming back to it again. Bless you. So that run was pretty decent. And then we got price target 1 and 2 there. And those came from just this huge order block, right? If we wanted to close it out, we need to close above it in the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And then that could allow the next few candles to actually reach to the highest order block. So the play is still very, very valid if you have your buy position there to getting a lot higher. So I'm going to continue holding my option contracts and I'll call a re-entry if we do get a re-entry opportunity. But for now, it's pretty good. We slapped a trade yesterday for I think $1,500, and then today I just cut it short for 1,500. But the goal is 2K, and more than likely we'll get there if you're still in. So it's pretty fire. Not too shabby. We didn't give too much bread back on the first trade. I think we lost like $160, something like that. So there's price target 2. Extra $500 I didn't take, but you can see the action that it chooses to get there as if it's going to fall off to liquidate people out just like I did. And then eventually you actually do get the touch. But for now, like we said, it's just trying to close out the order block. So it's hanging out. So that's all for me today. Do you guys got questions about maybe something today or some bullshit that you've been thinking about on the charts or anything? We can run it. But caught 3 bangs, 3 contract. Oh yes, sure. 3 bands is easy bread. Yeah, it was a nice breakout. It was very, very chill. It wasn't too momentum based and a really nice picture to look at as well. So we had a lot of references from yesterday's trades, being able to use it for today's trade. So it's not over yet either. Like we said, close above, could retest the high if it wants to and continue running. I think that's good for the Zoom for sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, man, we try to do it live so that way you guys can see what the headspace should look like and how to mitigate risk. You know, not every trade is supposed to be perfect. So I lose money sometimes too. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm up whatever I lost, then call that a successful day. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all for tuning in. If we don't got no questions, then I'll get the video downloaded and stuff. I have a huge folder of clips that I need to get to for editing purposes. So I've been recording all of our trades on the lives, all the losses, all the wins. And I'll be making a pretty in-depth walkthrough of the 1-2-3 strategy and a lot of these breakout trades because we've been taking them a lot. So don't worry, I'll chop it up and hopefully be able to give you guys some cookie cutter knowledge so we can continue using that. And then I'll focus on options in a little bit. So I'll be releasing separate like model on the course. So you can use your same login, but just go to the options side of the house and there'll be some stuff on there. It's not too different than what we're looking at now, but we can worry about that in March. I'll have it dropping before I go to Japan, which is March 31st. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. So I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, man. Unemployment's tomorrow at 8:30. So if you're interested, check it out. I'll see y'all. Peace.